Typically, you'll start out in light sleep and you'll fall down into a deep sleep. And then you'll come back up again, and then you'll go back down again. And then usually towards the end of the night, that's when you'll start dreaming. Right? That's REM sleep. When you're in delta sleep, in deep, deep sleep, you're not dreaming, but your body is very active. So getting the body in the right alignment, getting it appropriate density of the mattress for you and the way you sleep, that's what's critical about this tool.
This episode 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Mission Control. This is your host, Ramon Peralta with Peralta Design, and we launch brands. And we've got a very exciting episode. We have the one and only Mr. Bob Zukowski, co-founder and president of Custom Sleep Technology.
Thank you.
Welcome. CST is in the building.
That's right.
CST. Right. The technology is on the inside, and we can't wait to dive into that mattress. Right? So
warming the puns up already.
Right. Dive in.
No jumping.
No jumping. And of course, we want to introduce my co-host, Jorge Pezo Candelario.
Feeling like he found a 4-leaf clover because somehow the Mets are swinging bats in October.
It's a long one.
That was a long one. That was a long one, but we'll take it. And of course, on the soundboard, the one and only Kevin Atterbury.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Now they're really not going to know what time we did this.
Make sure you listen to this in the evening, so it would make more sense. So let's talk about sleep because like we were just talking about earlier, dozing off and then going to bed and trying to keep that what do you call, like when you're just getting drowsy, and then by the time you brush your teeth and do everything, you're wide awake again, and now you're like pulling out your phone, and that's not good.
No, exactly. And you reset the whole process at that point. There's something magic about that dad nap on the couch that just hits you. It just hits different than actually laying down and going to sleep. I don't know what to say, especially the Sunday afternoon, like the Giants have already played, whoever's on. Man, it's just like a beautiful place to be.
Yeah, the Giants have already lost.
This is accurate.
Ouch. Yeah, man. I mean, right now with my wife being back on her teaching grind, the sleep schedule, the pattern is there because now she wants to go to bed early. We get up early. So right now our schedule is like 10 p.m. We both make a promise, like we got to be in bed by 10, and then we get up at 6. But during when she's on vacation,
then explain the texts at 7. Okay.
Yeah. I'm up. The other thing is, during when she's not teaching, then it's like we might start a movie at 10. But it's like I'm not on vacation. I'm trying to hang with her, and so during the summers, the sleep can be a little disruptive. What is the optimum time? Because we know this idea of sleep when you die, or I grind while you sleep. That is not sustainable.
Not sustainable. Not healthy.
Not recommended.
Especially as somebody who lived that for forever. I mean, ask Kev.
You used to work all night almost, right? Stay up on the computer.
And exactly. So you'd be literally cranking out lines of code and in the wee hours. And there is something nice about the maker's hours where the phone's not ringing, that your email box isn't coming in. That I appreciated, but over time, and age kind of, also lends its own hand to that, teaching you that lesson that good sleep is so key to everything else in your life. Whether you're trying to get healthier with fitness, and you need that time for recovery and repair, and just being able to tackle the day. I went from you'll sleep when you're dead mentality to no, I'm getting that. No,
in now. you once you realize how good you feel. You get hooked on that, and I think as you get older, you don't recover as fast. Like you can't just not sleep for days and think you're going to be functioning. So the other thing that I've learned, and as you get older, there's no secret. I'm in my 50s. You start thinking of dementia and Alzheimer's and all this other stuff because you can get early onset type of things, and from what I've heard, if you don't get enough, there's a direct correlation with like not getting enough sleep and dementia. It's like your brain needs this time to like filter itself, and that's what it's doing with a good night's sleep. And we're gonna talk about what makes a good night's sleep and how you can improve your sleep. And how many of you guys sleep on your backs or your sides, or do you start out one way and end up another?
It's crazy. I only just found this out. It's reading an article that apparently it makes a difference if you sleep on your left or your right side if you're a side sleeper. I didn't realize that. I guess with the alignment of your organs, your left side is optimal and your right side jumbles things up entirely. So you kind of throw yourself out the window there. But I had been traditionally a side sleeper almost my whole life. And then for whatever reason, sleeping on my side just makes it so my arm falls asleep. So I have to sleep on my back.
I also think there's this, I would say, this applies to like married dudes, that I also like to be on the side of the bed that's like closer to the door. And it's kind of like a protection mode kind of act. Like I want to be ready for the intruder. I don't want to be the husband that's like on the, I guess it would be the right side of the bed if your door is on the left side of the bed, because then it's like if there's an intruder, you don't want to be that guy that like uses your wife as a human shield. You know what I mean? So it's like that's my side of the bed. Like I like the side that's like I'm ready for the attack. And it also affects like where I sit in restaurants too, which could be a whole nother podcast. But like I like having a view of the door. Like I don't want my wife looking at the door, and for some reason she doesn't warn me in time that there's somebody like coming in. And these are extreme scenarios, but this is how. So like sometimes she might sit down, and I'm like, "No, let me sit there so I can like see who's coming at us."
Now, what if there's a fire? Now, who's going to be the first one to get to jump out the window, right? Then you would be on the other side of the
children
bed.
First.
So you'd have to climb over you to get to the window.
I would get out of the way. I'd help her. Like I want to be like that chivalrous knight, But that's how I determine like what side of the bed I sleep on.
So out of curiosity, just if you're looking at the headboard, you're standing at the foot of the bed. Are you on the left or the right side?
The left side, and so's the door.
Kev?
What was the question?
You are at the. I guess you have a unique situation, but let's say. Ideally, let's say you're standing at the foot of the bed.
Kevin sleeps in a cocoon.
Standing at the foot of the bed.
You're looking at the headboard.
I don't have a headboard.
Left or the
No headboard.
Okay, well, that side.
No bed. It's a hammock.
Aerial hammock. I hang like a bat. Don't you know this?
Left or right side?
He's hanging upside down.
Yeah, which one is your side?
I guess so. In one, right side. Standing looking at the headboard. Yeah, right side.
There's a lot of thought going into this.
Yeah,
but the door though is behind, so it's not to the left or the right.
Right? Is it really?
So it wouldn't.
That's weird. So you're not facing the door, so you could be asleep and there could be an intruder.
No, if I'm laying in the bed in the back of the door, it's in front. Okay. So like we would, like there's no like left or right. It's in front. It's directly in front. We're both dead, I guess. I don't know.
Well, when you get older, you want to sleep where you're closest to the bathroom.
True.
Also, I say I still don't sleep. I'm still on the Elon Musk. If you work 100 hours and they're working 40, they're not going to be able to do as much as you are. So,
but you realize Elon Musk is an android, so he doesn't require as much sleep.
And I'm hoping that by the time it really starts affecting me, I'll just get the brain chip.
You just get the neural link.
And the neural link, that'll fix all the issues from not sleeping.
Right. If there was a way to just, if sleep is just like recovery and filtering your brain, then pretty soon they'll have something that just does that for you in a fraction of the time.
Just get that OS update.
I remember my parents, because I want to segue back into Bob's technology, but my parents at one point had a waterbed. I don't know how I remember this. I loved that. And this thing used to heat up. You could heat up the water in it too. Oh my God. That was like such a big deal to like get on it. Like when they weren't home, to like just go lay on it and you just kind of like float in it.
My friend's parents had one and I would just, that was the best going over there.
Hard to find nowadays.
Yeah. Why did they die out?
It just wasn't
catching
mainstream.
on.
What happened where so many people got convinced to buy one?
Yeah, it was like cool at one point.
A whole relic of the era.
Is there like a big like mattress? You know, like there's like the big oil companies. Is there like a big mattress like consortium that was like, get rid of the waterbed guy? You know, he's like the Edsel, you know, for Ford. You know what I mean? Like, we got to get rid of this guy, or the Corvair. You know, like, was there some conspiracy theory around like getting rid of the waterbed?
No, but you know, they call them the S brands. The Sealy, Serta, Simmons.
Okay, the
Spring
big
Air.
one, the big guys.
Yeah, they've dominated the market for decades.
Yeah.
Until probably about 10, 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. So they had the wherewithal to pretty much advertise anybody out of the market.
I had somebody posited this whole theory that Mattress Firm can't actually exist. Like, they tried to crunch the numbers of what the big box retail space would cost, and even if they sold a mattress a day, which they don't think is happening, they would never be able to recoup it. So how does that industry stand? How does it exist? How does it stand on 2 feet? Like, there's no way that big box retail space cost per square foot for what your sales would be.
10,000 square foot showroom,
right, could ever possibly be profitable.
They're not selling enough mattresses,
right? So how did that possibly work?
I don't know. I know there were. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if this is a correct theory or not, but I think they were Sleepy's before Mattress Firm.
Right,
it was like the same location, and then it was like they went out of business, and then now they're Mattress Firm. Like, I haven't followed it that closely to be any authority on like what is really going on.
It kind of blows my mind.
But it's always like when you walk into those places, it's like you just, first of all, like you just, I don't know. It's like going into a used car dealership. Like, you're just going to get taken and you just biting the bullet. You're like, I know I'm going to overpay and not really get something that I'm happy with. And then like you walk in and then the one guy like pops up out of nowhere and he like comes towards you.
The one guy who's working that entire time.
Yeah, and he like comes towards you. You know he gets like a 40% commission or something like that. And you're just like, oh, here we go. Like, it's just not the ideal situation.
Mattress Firm actually was a retailer and bought up a whole bunch of retailers across the country.
Wow.
They are by far the largest retailer. So one of their acquisitions here on the East Coast was Sleepy's.
Oh, okay.
Sleepy's, when it was an independent, was actually owned by a family, and started out as a furniture company. And the son started the mattress side, called it Sleepy's. Yeah. And then Mattress Firm came around and bought them all up, and then closed down a lot of them, and went into bankruptcy, got rid of a lot of the leases, and so they're really the dominant character in the retail space.
Wow. Well,
Metro Mattress just went into bankruptcy.
Okay, so the industry as a whole is seeing
noticed up the street here, Metro Mattress is gone.
Yeah, but they were the ones that were going to open up in Fountain Square, which is a brand new development. I don't think they really even...
They did. They opened.
They opened.
And then now they're closed.
Like not even 6 months.
No.
Yeah. Wow. Well, there's a new player in town. It's called Custom Sleep Technology, and we're going to hear all about it right after these words.
If you've got an innovation that you want to bring to the world, the first step is making sure you've got a great domain name. Visit shop.spacehost.pro to grab your domain name today and begin your new venture and your new business. Shop.spacehost.pro. 3, 2, 1.
Launch frames.
And we're back. Please help me welcome once again Bob Zukowski, co-founder and president of Custom Sleep Technologies.
Thank you, Ramon.
Bob, tell us your story.
Well, when I got out of college a long time ago, I went to work in aerospace. Now, I am not a degreed engineer, but I learned a lot about engineering through working with this company. It was here in Stratford, and I actually went back for an engineering degree. I didn't complete it, but I switched over and got an MBA degree. And but my background from the aerospace was writing business plans for technical products. And so I had to understand the engineering of these products. So, you could say I'm a self-taught engineer. The company ended up closing, and I ended up moving on to a company that was local here called Latex Foam Products. They are, and still are actually, but under a different name, the manufacturer of Talalay Latex that's used in mattress components for many of the major mattress brands. And I was actually, when I started with the company, I was actually in the cosmetics business. They had a cosmetics portion that made little applicators that went into compacts. And it was a fabulous business.
Oh, yeah, because it kind of has like a little foam tip.
Well, not the foam tip, but a foam applicator. It's a little rectangle.
Yeah, like a wedge.
Like a wedge or even a round or a rectangle.
That's good for like blending makeup. Yeah.
So, I'd be the guy walking through Macy's, looking at all the product in the display case. I wasn't looking at the product. I was looking at the sponges.
They thought you were getting like something for your wife or something.
Or myself. I don't know.
Yourself.
True. Saturday nights,
Yeah. Something to do.
So unfortunately, in 2001, the plant burnt down. There was an industrial fire.
That's the big fire that's
There's a big fire.
For,
well, this one was in Ansonia.
Okay.
The first one was in 1975.
Okay, the big latex foam fire.
That was in 1975. This happened in 2001, May of 2001. So our cosmetics division was decimated. All the product went off to Asia. So we had customers like Procter & Gamble, L'Oreal, Revlon. You name any major cosmetic company, they were our customers. So as part of the transition, I moved from the cosmetic business to the mattress business. And I started learning all about mattresses. And then my responsibility eventually was to sell latex to all the major brands: Sealy, Simmons, Serta, Spring Air, King Coil, Kingsdown. Pick a brand. I was out pitching like Talalay Latex to all these companies to use in their mattresses. And I got to look behind the curtain. I worked with a lot of their product development people and was sort of privy to how they design a mattress. And I couldn't figure out why they weren't using Talalay Latex in the top surface, because this is the Cadillac of sleep materials. Well, it occurred to me that they weren't all that concerned about how their customers slept, how well their products performed in the field. They were more concerned about getting their product through the warranty period, so the mattress didn't fail. And that was
meaning that it kept its integrity for.
It didn't end up with a body impression.
Yeah.
Okay. So once a body impression happens, you're going through the comfort layers and down into the firmer parts of the mattress, or getting closer to the springs, actually. So I thought, I think there's a better way to do this. And it was a couple years later, I know that there was a better way to make a product. Just look at the different body characteristics we all have. Mm-hmm. So if I could make a mattress that worked for Kevin, Javier, Jorge.
Close enough. I like Javier better.
Jorge.
I don't really get Jose, so that's a new one.
Ramon.
Javier is his ladies' man, persona.
So, my apologies.
That's his club name.
That it would give those individuals a better opportunity to achieve deep sleep, or cycle through all the important levels of sleep throughout the night. That is when all the good things happen. When you get into that stage 4 called delta sleep, that's when your mind starts to flush out.
Is that
those
REM
types of
also? Is that
nope? REM is different.
Okay.
And this is what the industry does. It grabs onto something like REM, and
when your eyes are like flickering and rolling
that
back in your head.
Really occurs when you're in light sleep.
Okay.
So typically you'll start out in light sleep and you'll fall down into a deep sleep, and then you'll come back up again, and then you'll go back down again. And then usually towards the end of the night, that's when you'll start dreaming. Right? That's REM sleep. When you're in delta sleep, in deep, deep sleep, you're not dreaming, but your body is very active. Your mind is very active. Your muscles are being fortified. Your immune system is being repaired. So it's experiencing all those cycles in the appropriate length that is quality sleep. So as we mentioned earlier, when you get into these various stages, you experience different things. And, when you take a nap, okay, a lot of times we fall into that deep sleep. At least I do.
Quickly.
Usually. Yeah, usually.
So that's really the secret, is like, I'm not just imagining it. I feel
power nap.
Exactly.
Right.
Because you went into the deep in a short amount of time.
Okay.
Yeah. 15 minutes to 30 minutes, and it really rejuvenates your body. So there's a lot of great things that happen, but I look at the design of a mattress as a tool. Okay. You eat well, you exercise, but if you don't get the sleep or the right quality sleep, you're not getting the benefit of that 8 hours of sleep at night. So getting the body in the right alignment, getting it appropriate density of the mattress for you and the way you sleep, that's what's critical about this tool, is giving you the best opportunity to get into that deep sleep.
Is there a theory that your comfort level is correlated to how quickly you get into these deep sleeps? Like if somebody was like, I once went on a motorcycle trip with a bunch of dudes. One of the guys was from the military. He slept on the picnic table. The rest of us packed sleeping bags. He just slept on a picnic table on the wood. All right. Does that mean that he did not get quality sleep because of the comfort level? Because when you're talking about the mattress as a tool, is it getting certain densities that is it because your body's kind of floating in the latex or some sort?
Yes. So what happens is if you're on a sleep surface that isn't appropriate, it's either too firm or too soft, you'll fall into it, that you'll start to go down to that deep sleep and my shoulder hurts. Now you may not come to consciousness, but your body's going to adjust and you'll roll over from the left side to the right, or to your back, or to your stomach. Right. So what's happening is you're falling down into that deeper sleep, and then you wake up and then you reposition, you fall back to sleep. The mattress isn't performing again. I got to readjust. So you never get down into those deep stages of sleep. And that's where the mattress you can get the most benefit out of one that's manufactured to your body.
A couple of things. Educate me on memory foam versus latex. And is latex really natural? Like it comes out of trees somehow? Is that how it's created?
Yes, latex comes out of trees. Most of it comes out of Southeast Asia, and it's a natural product. Some of it is combined with synthetic latex or synthetic rubber. But latex in and of itself is a rubber-based product, so like a rubber band, okay? Polyurethane or memory foam is a plastic-based material. So it's two different animals completely. The durability of latex is significant. It can last a long time. I've had customers call me and say they've had their pillows for 20 years. And they don't want to give them up. So they're in the market for a new one, but I'm not giving up the old one. Yeah. So polyurethane tends to break down quicker. It tends to take a body impression in a mattress. So by far, latex is a better material. Now, the downside to that is that latex is more expensive, but you have to weigh the durability and the lifespan of the mattress to, the polyurethane, where you're switching out a mattress every 5 to 7 years, where a latex mattress can go sometimes 15, 20 years.
What's the actual data on how often the average American buys a mattress?
Usually somewhere between 7 and 10 years. And typically that last 3 years is all pain.
Right.
They're in pain. But it takes about 3 years to acknowledge it.
I know I've flipped over mattresses and, to try to. It's kind of like rotating your tires, like you're trying to
get the extra life
trying
out
to
of
get it to wear out evenly.
Now, out of curiosity, let's say that you bought a mattress, but you traveled a lot, and you weren't. Let's say you were only home half the year or less. Does the amount of is there like a mileage? Does the amount that you use the mattress impact how quickly it degrades over time?
Certainly. Yep.
Good question.
Yep.
Why are you laughing, Kevin?
I'm not laughing. You're
Yes,
laughing.
you are.
Yep.
He's throwing some shade on Jorge.
I didn't. I'm not. No shade thrown.
Kevin's like, what are you doing on that mattress besides just laying down and going to sleep?
I'm just wondering, like, what what you like, how often you, let's say you just don't sleep home a bunch, right? Like I said, let's say you travel a lot.
Yeah, it's not getting used.
Right. What, how much is that impacted? Like, and how long, what's the average, how often should you change your mattress? Like what's the recommended, is there recommended? Is it just case by case basis?
I think the construction quality has to differ, and then you get the body indentation, because then you feel like, we've all been on the mattress where you feel like it's sucking you in. It's because it's the integrity is giving way, and now there's this, you start out on the edge, and both people or one person ends up in the middle, and that's now you're ruining your sleep because you can't. There's just no structure to it.
But to address your question, foam will degrade.
Just over time, period.
Just over time.
Okay.
Polyurethane will degrade quicker. It's called oxygenation. It'll slowly start to turn yellow, and then it'll start to fall apart. Latex, it'll take a much, much longer time. If it's not being used, it'll degrade in 20, 25 years.
Okay.
So
there is a shelf life, if you will.
But obviously, when you're in the mattress and you're putting pressure on the foam, it's going to degrade quicker over time.
Will a heavier person degrade it faster? Say if someone's in there and they weigh 350 pounds versus someone who weighs 150?
Well, it depends on the density of the foam. So if I were to design a mattress for somebody who weighs 350, I would use foam that's appropriate for that body weight. Okay? If they were on something that was inappropriate, where it was softer, yes, they would degrade that quicker. They would go right through it. So if you design it for that particular body weight and its weight distribution, it'll last just as long as any other mattress.
Okay. But if it's not, like, let's say they just got some random memory foam,
it's gonna degrade quicker.
Yeah. And are we moving away from coil springs? I mean, is that like an old technology?
There's certainly still an awful lot of spring mattresses, inner spring mattresses out there. But yeah, we have moved away from a lot of that. Typically, mattress companies use springs to increase the height because it's less expensive. And then you put all the money into the sleep surface, with all the different foams.
You might have a big old mattress, but really your sleep surface is like, let's say it's
6
12
inches.
inches. It might be 6 inches of actual like bedding material.
Correct.
Wow.
Correct.
And how does this work with the hotel industry? If you owned a hotel, do you just schedule it every 5-10 years? Is it even shorter? Or is there a way that you would keep track of how often you'd have to replace them? Do you know?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the time frame is, but they have contracts with some of the major manufacturers. I do know a Marriott. It was a franchise that they used one of the major brands, and it was a polyurethane mattress, and it was maybe 8 inches thick. At one time, during my company career, we made a mattress for the Jets quarterback. At the time, it was Geno Smith.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
And
or his favorite quarterback.
Well, Ramon and I got to meet him at a NFL Play 60.
Yeah.
Did.
So I followed the Jets around the country, and wherever Geno slept, I put his mattress in place. And
wow,
so he might be on it for 2 days if it was an away game, or one day if he was, they
that's
were
next
playing
level,
in the Meadowlands.
man. Like travel with a mattress.
That's amazing.
Oh well, we just shipped it.
Yeah.
I just met it there.
But I mean, he did wherever
he traveled
was,
with his own mattress.
He needed to have his own mattress. That's somebody that values quality sleep right there.
Look at the difference it makes. I'm sure he's sleeping good now in the Seahawks.
In order to answer your question about the hotels, I'm sure it depends on which one.
6 versus
exactly.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. 5-star hotel, you know.
The Ritz-Carlton, you know what I mean? Is it every year? I'm just curious, you know, like how long of a lease, or not a lease, I guess, how long of a warranty period you get in the hotel industry versus, you know.
And their whole
I'm
thing
not
is
familiar.
Experience. Yeah, they want you to have a good night's sleep. So Bob, you're in the space, you're seeing what's going on, and then when did that light bulb moment hit where you felt like you could do it better?
Well, once I started a retail store here in Shelton, and there was a doctor from New York who called me up, and he said he was a trauma surgeon, and he told me, he said, I really need to sleep well. He said, I could be up 24 hours, 36 hours operating. He says, I never know, but when I sleep, I need good quality sleep. So he came up to our shop, and I had a pressure mapping system. So it's 1,000. It's a grid of pressure points, and we put him on that mapping system, and we realized that your body does not exert equal pressure on your shoulders and hips or your back or your butt. So, you know, men have more girth in the chest, women a little more in the hips, and we found out that I pressure mapped everybody. Anybody I could, I'd call up all my friends, come on in, I'm going to pressure map your body. And they're all kind of looking at me crazy. But
what did that look like? Was it like a bed of nails? But like
No, it was, it just looked like a sheet with a bunch of squares on it.
In it.
Yeah, it just had.
And then that was connected to a computer?
That was connected to a computer, and it downloaded the data into an Excel spreadsheet. So in every cell of the spreadsheet was a measurement. And you could, if you backed away from the spreadsheet, if you made it smaller, you could literally see the body form.
Wow.
So if you go in and you look at, okay, what's the pressure on the hips, I could add up all that pressure and determine what it was, and then go look at the various parts of the body. So realizing that the body doesn't exert equal pressure, so if you want to make it right, you know, you look at Kevin, his shoulders are wider than his hips. So if he's a side sleeper, to make him comfortable so he doesn't wake up and want to move to readjust, take pressure off his lower back, you want him to be perfectly aligned, just as if he was standing up. You want him horizontal, but in alignment. And that's when you have the right densities supporting the right parts of the body, then you can have the opportunity, and I'm not saying it's a given, but you have the best opportunity now to achieve that deep sleep. And that's significant. And I think so many people out there are trying to find that solution, that, you know, people who work many, many hours, it's less about how long you sleep, but what is the quality of your sleep? You know, you could sleep 10, 12 hours, but if you're rolling around, that's not good quality sleep. But if you get good, solid 6, 8 hours of good quality sleep, much better for you. So one of the things that we did is in our mattresses, there are multiple segments and multiple layers. And it was in 2018, we filed for a patent with the U.S. Patent Office. And in 2021, we were granted our first patent. So we have something very unique in the way we design a mattress. We then had, there was a strategic hole, unfortunately, in that patent. And we then refiled the patent, and April 2nd of this year, we got our second patent. So we are now patented to make mattresses for 2 sleepers, completely customized. Yeah. Actually, I prefer personalized, because a lot of people think of customized as size. You know, right. Make a mattress for Shaquille O'Neal. You know, it has to be 7'5", right? We make personalized mattresses. We could make a mattress for Shaq, but
That would be fun.
It would be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was tricky of the patent office because when you filed it, you were assuming it was like for one or two people, and then they told you, well,
right,
you got a patent, but it's just for one person. So in theory, somebody could have come out with a patent for two, and I mean, luckily you guys did it quick enough.
Our lawyer was very astute.
Yeah,
he asked the right questions, and he said, we got to go back and we got to refile
because it doesn't actually say two people,
two people,
sleepers.
Two sleepers.
Well,
that's
a gem right there for those folks that are trying to patent or have something proprietary, which makes your technology more valuable, your company more valuable. So by this point, you've established CST as a company. You've gone because I'm trying to find that entrepreneurial moment where you left corporate to start your own business.
Yeah. So I started the company in 2009, and I had a retail store, and that's where the doctor from New York came in. We were there for about 3 years, and we thought, maybe we should up our game a little bit. So we moved to Main Street, Westport. We went from
that's like where Pottery Barn is and Starbucks, and it's a really bougie area there.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah,
very much so.
The logic, I guess, being that a more affluent base might value the sleep more and be able to be more of a target market.
Absolutely. But we went from paying rent of $1,800 to $5,000, and we were there for about 4 years. We the marketing didn't quite keep up with the cost of running a business on Main Street, Westport. So, one of those entrepreneurial lessons was we should have stayed right here and grew the business much larger before we decided to move to another location. So we shut it down, and I kind of didn't really do anything for a year or two because I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do. And then in the end of 2017, I had a couple of guys come to me and said, Bob, you really got a great idea. If we can get this filed for patent, let's restart the company. So we started it as Custom Sleep Technology. And now it's, I think we're on the precipice of really creating something very special in the industry. Because you can't find this anyplace else. Oh. It just doesn't exist. And now that we have patent protection, for the next 20 years, nobody can copy what we do.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the Color Comfort Sleep System that you've trademarked?
Yes.
I think that's pretty cool.
So in our designs, when somebody submits what we call a body profile, so on our website, customsleeptech.com, you can submit your body profile, and that is it's a series of questions that asks you about your body characteristics. So it starts out, tell us kind of what you look like, him and her, or whatever the case may be. From that information, then we make a design. We return to the customer, potential customer, a proposal stating this is the design we would recommend and why. And that design, when submitted back to the customer, comes in different colors. So we thought it would be appropriate and easy for the customer to identify, okay, well, this is softer here, this is firmer here, this is why. And we trademarked the Color Comfort Sleep System. So it's easy for people to understand this is the soft part under my shoulder, this is the firmer part under my hip, and why we're doing these types of densities for their particular body profile.
And I saw what this color system looks like in real life when in your showroom. When you unzip the mattress, you could see the pieces in there. So maybe talk a little bit how, because you're manufacturing these in your location. So they're made in the USA. You have all this latex, and then you're custom building a mattress. And I think you shared a story of a woman who I don't know if that's the appropriate thing to share. because that's kind of a customer challenge. That's more like customer service. You're really trying to take care of her.
Right.
But there was something you mentioned that because these mattresses are modular to an extent and personalized, that there's a longer shelf life because you can just replace a section of it and you can ship that out to the customer. Maybe
right.
Expand on that.
Yeah. So when a couple comes into our showroom, we have a couple mattresses there, and we call those design platforms. We don't even call them mattresses. They are design platforms because what they're intended to do is to get the person on the mattress, and we start with, well, the left side of this mattress is more appropriate for a male. This side is more appropriate for a female at a certain weight range.
The side closer to the door, by the way.
The side closest to the door. And
you asked them that. What side's your door?
So then we evaluate how they look on the mattress, and a lot of times their spine is out of alignment. So what we can do is we can open up the platform. It's zippered. We open it up and we take a piece of or modular piece out and put another piece in. So, and then we say, how does that feel? And then we look at their back and we see, okay, your spine is now aligned. How does that feel? And typically they'll say, wow, that really feels different. And we let them stay there as long as they like. I like to have them stay there 15, 20 minutes while we talk. They ask lots of questions. So essentially what we're doing is we're designing the mattress right there with them and with their feedback. So if somebody comes in and they don't like the way this feels, we can modify it. And by the time we're done with this design session, we're pretty confident we got it right. But you never know until the product is in the field and they've been sleeping on it for some period of time. So each of the layers within the mattress is independent. We adhere the layers or the segments together, but not the layers. So top to bottom, they're independent. So if they call me up a month later, a year later, and say, I think it needs to be softer or firmer here. I asked some questions. Well, why do you think that? Has anything changed? I had one customer tell me, oh, yeah, I had back surgery. Well, that's a significant change. Or I've put on 25 pounds, or I've lost 25 pounds. Now we're making an intelligent decision on how to modify that mattress. And we can then send them a new layer. They simply unzip, put the new layer in, take the old one out, and they're good to go. And the first change on any mattress that we manufacture is free. And it doesn't matter whether it's a week into the process or 10 years into the process. So long as they're still using the mattress, they're the original buyers, then we'll make that modification. After that, they're paying a very small fee to modify their mattress. They're not buying a new mattress in 8 or 10 years. We're modifying the one they've had. And we can change any component, including the external covers. So it really does revolutionize how people think about and buy a product or buy a mattress.
Have you ever had somebody who is so used to poor sleep that they don't even realize that it feels odd to them, even though the alignment is actually going to benefit them? Have you ever had somebody say, this feels off? Like, well, you're going to actually get good sleep now. And is it hard to kind of come to terms with being so used to sleeping poorly that it feels off?
Yeah, I always tell customers that they need at least 2 weeks to a month to acclimate to this new sleep surface. So when they first get on it, it's like muscle memory. Okay, you're used to sleeping like this. So when you're sleeping in alignment, it feels funny.
It's gonna feel high, maybe.
It feels different. So I say, give it a month, and then let me know how it feels. One of the important things about the reason we do this, the industry, when you go to, we mentioned some of the retailers, you go to a retailer, about 20 to 25% of their sales, their mattresses, come back to the store. Okay? Since I've been doing this, our return rate is less than 5.
Wow.
So we get it right. 95% of the time we get it right.
What is your return policy? Like, what's the deadline?
There is no deadline. We don't have, the industry likes this 100-day free trial. Well, to me, that's irrelevant. We say if the mattress needs to be modified, we'll modify it. That's why we give the free modification. And we'll work with customers. Okay? I want them to be happy with my product. So we work with them to make sure, and if we can't get it right, it's just not going to work for them, they get 100% refund. But there's no time limit on that, because you can't tell somebody, oh, well, you have to sleep this way for 100 days. It's inappropriate for the customer. You're putting pressure on them to make a decision. We don't want that.
That's good to know. I know when I bought my last mattress, that was a thing. They were like, sleep on it for, I think it was like 30 days or so before you make a decision on it. And then I think it was like 90 days or something to, return it for the full price. There
was a great article, and I'm not quite sure where it was, but this gentleman would buy a mattress, typically in a box, had a 100-day. On day 98, he returned it. Got his money back, bought another one that had a 100-day, slept on that one for 98 days, returned it, bought another one that had a 100-day. I don't think the guy's ever bought a mattress.
He's always got a new one. He's got his 5Gs in hand. You shared another metric with me that was impressive, which was the conversion rate. Like, you feel when people walk in, if they've done the body profile and they come to the showroom, they usually walk away with a mattress.
Yeah, about 80% of the time. Again, this is comparing that to the industry. You walk into a major retailer and they close about 30% of the people who walk in. We close about 80, because now they know they're getting something very unique. And it's not this high pressure environment. When you walk into, an existing retailer, typically they're asking you, what's your budget?
Yeah.
Do you want soft, medium, or firm, and what's your budget?
In that price range.
Right. And so over here, try these 5 mattresses. Well, when you walk into our showroom, if we have a body profile, I've already built the bed in the showroom for you to come in and try. And then they come in and try, and maybe we'll make a tweak, maybe not. And so they know that this is really right for them. And they're willing to, to make the purchase, saying, well, this is really different. It's a very low pressure. It's much more of a high-tech environment. We created a technology. When somebody comes in, we can scan their body and get their body dimensions. So we don't even have to have them, I used to take a tape measure out and, measure them.
Like a tailor.
Like a tailor, exactly. And now we have this technology where you can come in, you stand in front of a 3D scanner, I hit the button, it's already given me all the dimensions that I need to build your personalized mattress.
Pretty cool.
Makes it really simple.
Pretty cool. And right now you're going, you're selling strategies. You're going direct to consumer,
yes.
Online. What's the customer experience like now, and where might you want to see it go?
Well, our goal is to grow with retailers, either company owned or potentially put a franchise model together and offer it to companies that may have a furniture company that want to add our type of mattress to their offerings. And that way we can provide them with the technology, with the marketing strategy to drive locally, and the product that they wouldn't have access to otherwise. So I think it's a combination of both franchises and company-owned stores. And the reason I say that is, in a company-owned store, we want that research and development. So we want to gather data, sort of things that customers say. We know the technology. We know the technology works, but we need that. What do we need to do better in our own stores so we can bring that out to the franchises?
Yeah. And on average, somebody, what can they expect would be the price point, what's included. I know you mentioned you also have pillows and things like that. So if somebody went to your website and filled everything in, came into the showroom, what are they looking at on average?
Well, if you're buying a mattress, we offer two different designs, a 9-inch and a 12-inch, and usually that's driven by the body profile weight. Mm-hmm. But anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000. Mm-hmm. We also, part of our patent also includes matching your body with a pillow. So we don't want to go. It's like you go to the 3-yard line, right? and somebody's pillow isn't right, and their neck is out of alignment with their spine. So
you got the spine straight, but then your head.
And then the head is, and then you wake up with a crick in the neck, and you say, this mattress isn't working for me. Yeah. So we have a technology by which we can match the body characteristics with the right density pillow, and in some cases the right loft of the pillow. So it's a different kind of approach. Typically, people just say, I'll buy a pillow. Well, we provide the entire service. The whole mattress, the pillow. So it's the whole package.
Awesome. Where can somebody go? I mean, once they hear this episode, you want one. I mean, it just sounds it's personalized. It helps you sleep better. It's in the right price point with competitors, and all the other competitors that are out there doing this. None of them have this technology behind it. It's basically the same density for the entire mattress, whereas yours is modular, put together. I mean, it just sounds like an amazing experience.
Yeah, people can find us certainly on our website, which is customsleeptech.com. We have information up on Reddit, certainly on LinkedIn, Instagram, and we've got some videos up on YouTube. More to come. We keep trying. Videos are tough.
Yeah. Well, this will be one more.
This will be one more.
This podcast, You did a great job. Thanks for coming out. The technology is on the inside. CST, Custom Sleep Technology, CustomSleepTech.com.
Correct.
Check them out. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to this episode of Mission Control. Until next time, this is your host, Ramon Peralta with Peralta Design, and we launch brands.